0345 6060 973. Going to talk to Nick Jones, who's on the line, dog behaviourist at Alpha Dog Behaviour. Hello, Nick.
Good evening, Clive. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. It's been quite revealing, actually, chatting to dog owners and learning more about this Dangerous Dogs Act. Do you think... somebody said it was like eugenics earlier on, that was kind of labelling particular breeds in a way. Is it fair or not?
Well, it's seriously unfair, isn't it? In so much as that, whilst we have to avoid generalisations, I think by banning a number of breeds, it has, in essence, created near status symbols. So to own these dogs brings a lot of kudos to certain people that frankly shouldn't be.
Or we could do a better job of really banning them.
Well, that's certainly an argument, and to play your devil's advocate.
I struggle to see. Maybe you can explain it. I mean, clearly there are some breeds that are more likely to do a bit of damage than others. They're bigger, stronger dogs. Whether it's in their nature or not, I don't know. But there are some that are going to be more dangerous than others, surely. And I just wouldn't have them as a pet. Why not have some sort of fairly small, friendly dog?
Well, I couldn't agree with you more, and of course it's always important from an ownership point of view to choose a breed and the sex of the dog and the size of the dog, generally speaking, that is in keeping with the owner's experience, their ability. For example, it wouldn't be correct as an octogenarian to go out and to buy a Rottweiler puppy, but hey, I've seen that in the years gone by, and it does sort of make your eyes roll a little. So it's important that we take into account our lifestyles and choose a dog breed accordingly. But of course, some, and excuse me for generalising, but let's say some young men will see large, powerful breeds and think that is exactly the breed for me. Yeah. And very often they will find themselves quite quickly out of their depth because if they haven't taken a dog from a background of good breeding, haven't given the dog, let's say, adequate socialisation with people and other dogs and animals, adequate training, if they don't give adequate control or leadership, then these dogs can quickly become out of control. I was listening to Sean talk earlier about his Doberman, which is very interesting. Yeah. Sounds passionate about his dog. The point is with guard-type breeds is that they have an innate ability and an innate drive to protect. That's great. And if you need that in a family dog, that's fine. But what's really important is that the owner has adequate control and training with that dog to say, thank you, that's enough, come here, sit, lie down, stay, whilst the owner can then...
What worries? What if the owner isn't there?
Well, these are problems, and the owner may need, depending on the dog and the breed, to think ahead further so that there is adequate safety and control measures in place.
Can I ask you about another thing as well that's come up quite a bit, is this idea that a dog, and I've heard examples of this, can just suddenly sort of switch and suddenly lose it and with no history whatsoever. Suddenly attacks a child or an adult, and completely out of its normal nature. Does that happen, and why would it happen?
Okay, so when this sort of scenario does occur, and it can occur from time to time, people or the owner could be somewhat confused as to what provoked the dog into behaving in that way. When I go on behaviour visits to look at dogs and to, say, assess a dog that has behaved in this way, there is usually, after 30, 40 minutes of probing questions, somewhere and something in the dog's background that would have gradually built up. I usually describe it as a ladder of escalation. If we imagine a ladder leaning against a building, and we're going up the first step, the second step, and by the time we get to step 15, which is when the dog snaps, we have some history there. So there is usually, upon further questioning, a lead up to such a behaviour. And of course, some dogs are, and I see it in pictures on the internet, as we all do, placed in impossible situations. Children, for example, sitting on dogs, kissing dogs' faces. It's something that should not be happening.
And in terms
dogs are put in impossible situations.
Sure. And in terms of the Dangerous Dogs Act, I mean, it sounds like you think it's a sort of inherently unfair. But is there any better way of dealing with this huge problem? Because we don't want people to be attacked with these horrible examples of especially children being attacked by dogs. Is there a better way of dealing with it?
Well, you know, the saying that often goes around with this act is, and I think it's a reasonable saying, and it's deed, not breed. Okay, so what this actually means is that it's we really address each dog on a case by case basis.
But isn't that too late then? If it's done the deed, it's too late.
Yes, but the problem, it is too late, but through better education and winding the whole situation back a few steps and getting to the root causes of this issue, that, I believe, in the longer term is a good way.
Well, I'd like to think so, but some of these idiots that we've been talking about with mistreating dogs and stuff, I can't imagine any kind of education campaign is going to reach them.
Well, this is a good argument, and for example, the recent implementation of legally having to microchip one's dog, you know, you will only find the responsible people doing that.
Well, exactly. That is the problem, isn't it? Very interesting to talk to you, though, Nick. Thank you very much for that, dog behaviourist at Alpha Dog Behaviour.